Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Monday, December 10th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's football games, college hoops, NBA, NHL. I'm going to do guess the lines for the bowl games, and I'm going to do my best bet of the day. All right, NFL, a lot of crazy finishes and whatnot yesterday. And some very interesting results as well. Playoff picture has changed a lot. The Giants defeat the Redskins 40-16. I'm just going on the order of how my phone lists these. The Giants go to 5-8. Washington drops to 6-7. Awful game for Mark Sanchez. Great game for Saquon Barkley. And by the way, Sanchez gets benched for Josh Jackson this game. Josh Jackson showed a little something at the end there of that game, even though it was garbage time. The Jets defeat the Bills 27-23. Go-ahead touchdown pass by Sam Darnold. You'd be glad to see that if you're the Jets. They're 4-9. Buffalo's 4-9. The Browns defeat the Panthers 26-20. The Browns are 5-7-1. Carolina is 6-7. The Packers defeat the Falcons 34-20. Packers 5-7-1, Atlanta 4-9. The Chiefs defeat the Ravens 27-24 in overtime. The Chiefs are 11-2. Baltimore drops to 7-6. The Dolphins defeat the Patriots 34-33 on a miracle lateral play that bounced all around. That ended up being a 69-yarder to Kenyon Drake. Miami is 7-6. New England is 9-4. The Saints defeat the Buccaneers 28-14. Saints 11-2. Tampa Bay 5-8. The Saints played bad in the first half, and then they turned it on in the second. The Colts defeat the Texans 24-21 to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Indianapolis goes to 7-6. Houston drops to 9-4. The Texans' win streak is over. The Chargers defeat the Bengals 26-21. Chargers improve to 10-3. Cincinnati drops to 5-8. The 49ers defeat the Broncos 20-14. San Francisco 3-10. Denver 6-7. The Cowboys defeat the Eagles 29-23 in overtime. A lot of crazy things in this game, especially the end there. Dallas 8-5, Philly 6-7. The Raiders defeat the Steelers 24-21. Raiders 3-10, Pittsburgh 7-5-1. Lions defeat the Cardinals 17-3. Lions 5-8, Arizona 3-10. Bears defeat the Rams 15-6. Chicago 9-4, LA 11-2. Big bounce back win for the Bears, considering that they lost to the Giants a week ago. Meanwhile, neither offense was good in this game. Their defenses were fine. And Chicago's defense, what a bounce back after its disappointing performance against the Giants. Well, the Rams, that was the worst I've seen them all season. I think they rebound from that next week. Tonight we have the Seahawks hosting the Vikings, 8:15 ESPN. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, and Lisa Salters on the call. Russell Wilson, to me, has to be in the MVP discussion, especially if they win tonight. He single-handedly kept the Seahawks team in the playoff hunt. This is not the Seahawks of old, but Russell Wilson's play is getting better, and Pete Carroll is getting his team to overachieve, so he deserves some credit too. The Vikings, they haven't beaten a good team all season. All the best teams they've played, they lost to. Obviously, the Patriots, the Bears in primetime. They lost at home to the Bills. That was one of their worst losses. They also lost to the Saints at home in primetime. So, keep an eye on this one. College hoops, I'm just going to do the scores, not going to do the records. Columbia defeats Iona 74-71 at the Garden. Niagara defeats New Hampshire 71-67. Number 15, Virginia Tech defeats South Carolina State 81-44. Alabama defeats Arizona 76-73. St. John's defeats Princeton 89-74 at MSG. Duquesne defeats Longwood 80-71. Old Dominion defeats Fairfield 79-69. Cleveland State defeats Notre Dame College 77-56. Chattanooga defeats VMI 83-65. Number 4, Virginia defeats VCU 57-49. Georgia Tech defeats Florida A&M 73-40. LSU defeats Incarnate Word 91-50. Charleston defeats Georgia College 87-69. Delaware defeats St. Francis, Pennsylvania 88-83. Wofford defeats Coastal Carolina 82-71. Wagner defeats New Rochelle 105-57. Lipscomb defeats Navy 107-81. From Phoenix, number 7 Tennessee upsets number 1 Gonzaga 76-73. Grant Williams fouls out at the end, but Tennessee continues to find its way. And the AP poll is going to have a big shakeup once it comes out today. Evansville defeats Ball State 89-77. Tennessee State defeats Coppin State 64-55. Tennessee Tech defeats Hiwassee 97-60. St. Louis defeats Oregon State 65-61. San Diego defeats Cal State Northridge 82-68. North Dakota defeats Milwaukee 83-72. Denver defeats Western State 93-69. Santa Clara defeats Sonoma State 82-54. Samford defeats Alabama A&M 77-59. Number 6 Nevada defeats Grand Canyon 74-66 in Phoenix. Texas defeats Purdue 72-68. Iowa State defeats Southern 101-65. Montana defeats Washington State 95-90. Washington defeats Seattle 70-62. Tonight's slate, actually one day game at 12 o'clock, Sacred Heart Dartmouth. 7 o'clock, Hofstra Manhattan, Maine Machias, Maine, Moorhead State Marshall. 8:30, Champion Christian against Arkansas Pine Bluff. 10 o'clock, Long Beach State Pacific and Cal State Fullerton and State Mary's. NBA. Only 4 games last night. Pelicans defeat the Pistons 116-108. Bucks defeat the Raptors 104-99. Great win from Milwaukee, by the way. Spurs defeat the Jazz 110-97. Hornets defeat the Knicks 119-107. Today's slate at 7 o'clock, you have the Wizards at the Pacers, the Pistons at the Sixers, 7:30 the Pelicans at the Celtics, 8 o'clock the Kings and the Bulls, the Cavs at the Bucks, the Jazz at the Thunder, 8:30 the Magic at the Mavericks, 9 o'clock the Grizzlies at the Nuggets, the Clippers at the Suns, 10:30 the Timberwolves at the Warriors, and 10:30 NBA TV, the Heat at the Lakers. NHL, 7 games yesterday. The Canucks defeat the Blues 6-1. The Jets defeat the Flyers 7-1. Bruins defeat the Senators 2-1 in overtime. Canadiens defeat the Blackhawks 3-2. The Ducks defeat the Devils 6-5 in a shootout. Oilers defeat the Flames 1-0. Golden Knights defeat the Stars 4-2. Tonight's slate only 4 games. Penguins Islanders at 7. At 7:30 the Kings and the Red Wings and the Rangers at the Lightning. And at 10:30 you have the Devils at the Sharks. Now I'm going to do guess the lines for the bowl games. I got to admit this was the hardest one to do of all the weeks because there's a lot of players not playing due to injury, and a lot of teams tend to not get up for these type of games, and some of them are Group of 5 against Power 5 and puts things sort of out of whack. We're going to start with the Cure Bowl between Tulane and Louisiana. I have Tulane laying 6 and Tulane's laying 3.5. New Mexico Bowl, I have Utah State laying 7 against North Texas. Utah State's laying 9. The Vegas Bowl, I have Fresno State laying 3.5 over Arizona State. Fresno State's laying 4.5. The Camellia Bowl, I have Georgia Southern laying 1.5 over Eastern Michigan. They're laying only 1. New Orleans Bowl, I have Appalachian State laying 5 against Middle Tennessee. They're laying 7. I have UAB laying 4 over Northern Illinois in the Boca Raton Bowl. They're laying 2.5. The Frisco Bowl, I have San Diego State laying 4.5 against Ohio. This is the first disagreement I've had with Vegas so far when making my picks in terms of the side. They have Ohio as a 3-point favorite. The Crispilla Bowl, I have Marshall by 2. Marshall's laying 2.5 over South Florida. Bahamas Bowl, I have FIU laying 4.5 against Toledo. Toledo's laying 6. That's bizarre. Potato Bowl, I have BYU by 6. BYU's laying 12. That's high. Birmingham Bowl, I have Wake Forest by 3. Memphis is laying 5. Armed Forces Bowl, I have Houston by 8.5. Army is laying 3. Dollar General Bowl, I have Buffalo minus 7 over Troy. Buffalo's only minus 2.5 over Troy. The Hawaii Bowl, I have Hawaii getting 12.5 from Louisiana Tech. But Hawaii's actually a 1-point favorite in the game. So that's a little bit of a surprise to me there. The First Responder Bowl, I have number 25 Boise State laying 8 to Boston College. Boise's only laying 3. The Quick Lane Bowl, I have Georgia Tech laying 6.5 against Minnesota. Georgia Tech laying 4. The Cheez-It Bowl, I have it as a pick'em between Cal and TCU. And it's a pick'em. So that's my first correct pick. The Independence Bowl, I have Temple minus 4 against Duke. Temple's laying 3. The Pinstripe Bowl, I have Wisconsin by 6 over Miami. Miami's laying 4. That's weird. Maybe it's because of Hornibrook, but I'm not a fan of Miami's QB either. The Texas Bowl, I have Vanderbilt by 4.5 over Baylor. Vanderbilt's laying 3.5. The Music City Bowl, I have Auburn by 6 over Purdue. Auburn's by 4 over Purdue. The Camping World Bowl, I have number 20 Syracuse laying 7 against number 16 West Virginia. That is solely because Will Greer isn't playing. And West Virginia is still favored by 1.5. The Alamo Bowl, I have number 13 Washington State laying 5.5 over number 24 Iowa State. The Cougars are laying 3.5. The Peach Bowl, I have number 7 Michigan laying 10.5 against number 10 Florida. Number 7 Michigan is laying 7.5. The Belk Bowl, I have South Carolina by 4 over Virginia. And that's what the line is. So that's 2 correct picks. The Arizona Bowl, I have Nevada by 7 over Arkansas State. Arkansas State's actually laying a point. The Cotton Bowl, I have number 2 Clemson laying 12 over number 3 Notre Dame. And Clemson is laying 11.5. So half point off there. I have number 1 Alabama laying 14 over number 4 Oklahoma in the other playoff game, and that's what the line is, so my 3rd correct pick. The Military Bowl, I have Cincinnati by 3 over Virginia Tech. They're laying 5. The Hyundai Sun Bowl, I have Stanford minus 3.5 over Pitt. They're laying 6.5. The Red Box Bowl, I have Michigan State by 4.5 over Oregon. Oregon's by 3. Well, I made that line assuming that Justin Herbert wasn't playing. The Liberty Bowl, I have number 23 Missouri laying 7 over Oklahoma State, and they're laying 7.5. The Holiday Bowl, I have number 22 Northwestern laying 4.5 against Utah. Utah 17. And number 17 Utah is laying 7. That's unbelievable. Utah has so many injuries. The Gator Bowl, I have number 19 Texas A&M laying 6.5 over North Carolina State. A&M is laying 4.5. Number 18 Mississippi State, I have minus 8 over Iowa. They're laying 6.5. The Fiesta Bowl, I have number 11 LSU laying 7.5 over UCF. That's what the line is. So that's 4 correct picks. The Citrus Bowl, I have number 12 Penn State laying 6.5 over Kentucky. They're laying 6. The Rose Bowl, I have number 6 Ohio State laying 7 over number 9 Washington. They're laying 6.5. And last but not least, the Sugar Bowl. This is probably an overreaction to their near win against Alabama, but I have number 5 Georgia laying 13.5 over number 15 Texas, and Georgia is laying 11. That's the last set of Guess the Lines for the year for college. I'll do it before the national title game on the podcast the day after the college football playoff semifinal, which is the 30th. I'll do that Guess the Line. And last but not least, my best bet of the day. 8-line moneyline parlay in the NBA. I have the 76ers I have the Pacers, I have the Celtics, the Bucks, the Thunder, the Clippers, the Lakers, and the Warriors. Plus 562, I paid $1.20 with a payout of $7.94. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the Monday night game between the Vikings and the Seahawks. All the college basketball, the college football, NHL, NBA. College football's done. I'll go over some more college football injuries for bowl games if any of those were to come out. Winter meetings began last night. I'll obviously be talking about moves that were made between now and the next podcast and rumors as well. And I'll give you guys my best bet for tomorrow as well. And guess the lines for Week 15 as well as the NFL Power Rankings. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.